people are not projects, they're produce. You know what I'm saying? Not products. You know what I'm saying? Although there's production, but they're produce.
Yeah.
I guess sometimes we fail to be like Jesus in a lot of our walks and in our Christian duties because we make people projects. And so we're looking at people and we're seeing what in our viewpoint, what's wrong with them or what needs to be fixed. Mind you, Jesus says, don't try to get something out your brother, a twig out your brother eye when you got a plank in your own.
Right.
He's saying something now.
Yeah.
Right? But we make people the projects and now we're trying to fix people.
Yeah.
But that's not the goal.
Welcome to the RedIn30 podcast, where we talk about Jesus, truth, and us, all using red words.
Using red words. Black.
Hey.
Woo, 29.
Get it up there then.
Nice.
All the way. Hey, what up?
I'm sitting here. Should I know how to say it in Spanish?
Welcome to
You
the
better.
RedIn30
Let me Google it right quick.
podcast.
Yeah.
Didn't you have Spanish college classes?
6.
She took Spanish in college, I think.
You took Spanish 6?
I took 6 Spanish classes in college.
Oh,
you should
and you
know
got a and you got a
29.
Google 29?
Yeah, give it back.
I can read it better than I can speak it.
Oh my God.
Y'all, how did Google know I was looking for 29 in Spanish?
Google
It came
know-
up as a suggestion.
Google knows everything.
29.
Now there we go. Episode 29.
Yeah.
20. So what's up, y'all? This is RedIn30 podcast. We're here. We're here with Pastor J. Make some noise with Pastor J. Woo.
Yeah.
And she's back.
Yeah.
Give it up for the lovely Nakia. Woo. Oh, she did that.
That's how you
That's so
feeling?
funny, dog.
Hey, if we had a stage, I'd come out like that.
That's how you.
Hey.
That's funny.
And we have the
I'm DM.
wonderful DM Stay Fresh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why y'all always say my Instagram name? Y'all always do my Instagram
Because
name.
you're an artist. You're an artist.
I'm saying,
You
so
know y'all like to use y'all stage
you know what?
names.
Next time I'm saying y'all Instagram name.
My Instagram name, my
okay.
name.
I'm saying it. That's exactly what I'm still gonna say it though.
That's
my
fine,
God.
bro.
You gonna start a
I'm gonna
conversation.
show you middle names and
if you say
everything.
mine.
I'm gonna show you middle names and everything.
She don't want that one.
Ooh, she calmed
She
down.
don't want that
A few
one.
minutes ago, I said, huh.
The equalizer right there, boy.
Oh my God. But Red 30,
Man, I ain't
guys.
scared.
You ain't scared? All right, thugging. Red 30, Red 30, we popping. We are here, RedIn30, RedIn30.com. RedIn30 is a 30-day reading of the Gospels.
Yeah.
We believe in the entire Bible. We believe that the Bible is a story about us. But we believe the red words tell us who we are in the story and who we should be, because those are the words of Jesus the Christ.
Jesus Christ.
And so we read Jesus Christ. So we read 30 days, about 3 chapters a day. You know, if you haven't gotten on, jump in. We're about to start a new cycle in a few days. But it doesn't matter where you jump in, as long as you jump in.
Yeah.
We talk about Jesus, truth, and you, all using the red words. So that's what this podcast is about. This podcast is not meant to take the place of your study or your search in the red words, because at the end of the day, we're just expounding on it. And we're doing a lot of searching ourselves. We're not claiming to be experts on the red words. We're not claiming to be experts on Jesus, but we are looking.
Yep.
And we are searching.
Looking.
We take into consideration the entire Bible.
Yep.
Just in case you're watching and you're
Right.
wondering.
Uh-oh, she didn't get hers out last week, so she got to
she
get that
didn't.
this
Oh,
week.
yeah.
She's sitting on the side to my wish I was talking.
We know what the other chapters say.
Right, we know what the other chapters say, but Jesus is the fulfillment in the flesh
Yep.
of all scripture, So that's where we at. How y'all feeling? Y'all all right? We good?
Yeah.
We still a little quarantined, ain't we? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Keeping our social distancing.
Social distances.
Not really.
Not
Not
really,
really.
but yeah, not. Come
My
on.
dog. My dog.
Hey, she picked her hand up. She wanted to dab. She was like,
Oh, I
you
did.
did.
I did not.
Don't leave me out.
Hey, rewind it back. I ain't do that.
Run it back. Play it back. Play the replay. But yo, so today is dope.
Yeah.
As always.
Yep.
And so I think I got a good conversation today.
Yeah.
You know, bruh, sometimes sometimes
Get it out, bro.
all right, let me speak for me. Okay, I'm gonna speak for myself. All right, because I don't want to be projecting anything on anybody. I'm gonna just speak for myself.
All right.
You know, the more I read the red words and the more I pay attention to Jesus, I always found out how far I'm not. Like you always have a gauge of where you think you are, how mature you are, the progress you have. And then as soon as you do it, it's like Jesus, like, nah. It's almost like, remember on the part, he was like, you know, you say if you lay with a woman, you commit adultery, but I say if you thought about it, you know what I'm saying? Or he's like, they actually go, so it's always a one-up. And the more I search him and look for him, I start seeing. So for me, man, I've been finding out a lot about myself. You know, we've been at home, you know, and we've been, you know, no basketball is on right now, no sports for us fellas that like sports.
Right.
And so distraction level is at an all-time low.
Right. True story.
I mean, whether you watching Netflix or Amazon Prime or Hulu or whatever you're watching,
Just on your phone.
or just on your phone, Instagram, yeah, whatever, there's still not enough of that to keep your attention all day long.
Right.
And so focus is inevitable. And so when you're doing it, I found out, man, that I'll be honest, man, I think I'm still a little bit more judgy than I want to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit more.
So how judgy do you want to be?
Well, right. Well, right. How judgy? What's the level you want to be at? A level 10 judgy?
More judgy than
Right?
you should
Well,
be.
I'm more to say being judgy. I guess I'll say judging off of the wrong standards.
Okay.
Because Jesus did say, you know, as I hear, I judge. So it wasn't, you know, he also said, judge not that you be not judged, but he's speaking of a certain thing.
Yeah.
He says, as I hear, I judge. But then he explains, he said, but my judgment is just because I'm only doing the will of the Father.
True story.
So I'm not sitting here talking to you about you based on how I feel about you.
Right.
Yeah.
You know
And
what
we
I'm
do
saying?
a lot of that.
Oh, my God.
So we all can say the same thing.
Yeah, I was just going to say it for myself, but if y'all want to go ahead and say it, then,
True story,
you know
yeah.
what I'm saying, then y'all watching too.
Here.
You know, here, because and I started considering, I'm always looking at myself and considering myself compared to Christ. You know, we got a problem of comparing ourselves to each other as well.
Yeah.
You know, comparing ourselves to somebody we think is less of moral standards or whatever, and then feel good about yourself. But and God told me the other day, no, don't compare yourself to nobody. Do it to me. You know what I'm saying? If you want to compare whatever, compare yourself there. And it challenges. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so it really humbles you.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's really nothing else to say. It was like,
Yeah, with all that, you can't start judging other people.
right. And
You ain't got time for it.
Ain't got time. And then it's like,
Trying to stay.
then it's like God tell you stuff like that. Like Jesus show you that. It's like you can't argue with them. It's almost like, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
And then you got to like rethink your processing.
Yeah.
And I guess we don't try to come across as people that's really like,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
something wrong with y'all. That's not
That's not our vibe.
right. That's not our vibe. But then he's like, that's still not enough. I'm like, what? Like what else? He said, die. I said, God, dog.
Yeah, I think subconsciously you think if you start a conversation about somebody's issues, you low key, if you're not dealing with it, you
Right.
low key think
It's you better.
you have a hang on things when it comes to that, without considering the things you don't have a hang on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it does make you a little judgy.
Yep. No matter how good, it made me think about it, like you really, high-mindedness to me is, Romans talked about it, Paul talked about it in Romans, that no man should think more highly than he ought to think, but think soberly. It's a good thing he always said.
Yeah.
And I think high-mindedness is thinking that you have a grip and then believing in your ability to have a grip. Like your belief in yourself becomes your foundation, and that's when you lose it.
That's dangerous.
Well, have you ever lost control of a car? I have. Yeah, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right, but you could drive.
Right.
You
Right.
drive pretty good, right? Like
Yep. Excellent driver.
Excellent driver, but there's this something in the conditions or something going on, and it makes you lose control of something that you were so sure of.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, like we talked about this before in another podcast, usually what they tell you is
Let go.
you gotta let the wheel go so that everything
Yeah.
can run its motion. You know, but I think the idea, like you saying, that we just think we got a hang of something, so it feels like you're an authority on it now.
Yeah. Especially if you done went through something too.
Oh, man,
my
don't let you have a testimony. If you got a testimony, oh, my
Oh no,
God.
I know that one. I know that one.
See, here's what's wrong with you. Here's your problem.
Yep.
You know, and I get helping people. I get the testimonies for a reason. But how?
Yeah. The
is very
tone.
important.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like the level of compassion. You should be more compassionate.
Right.
Because you know every day you're dealing with something. We were talking about this the other day. You know every day, when you realize that every day you're breaking through something that you used to have a problem with, now you're more compassionate about people breaking through whatever they have on their table. Or maybe it's totally different than yours, right?
And that
you can
empathy
be
on a different level then.
Yeah, it's on the
Yes.
ball game. Yeah, because it hit home.
Yeah.
I have a story.
Hit home.
So I was not feeling well.
Okay.
Because it's about this. I wasn't feeling well, right?
Aw.
And like a week ago, that was last week.
Well, I bet they probably wanted to take you to the.
I did go to the grocery store and tried to hold in the cough. Like
Oh
the
my
memes, like real life.
Hey.
Yeah, I was in the car like, let me get all these coughs out now before I walk in.
Because they gonna send you back to the car.
Hey.
Boy, people look at you right now, boy. You sneeze a cough right now, boy. People look at you
Don't
like you got
touch
the
me, don't
plague.
look at me.
For
Anyway.
real.
Don't even clear your throat.
Right.
But you know when you're not feeling well, you're not supposed to eat a lot of sugar.
Right, truth. And cheese and dairy and
I
stuff
was
like that.
craving cookies.
Uh-oh.
You crazy for all the
And-
sugar, huh?
Look, and I just made my mind up that I wanted cookies, right? And I knew.
Oh, stubborn self.
I know, right? Deep down, I knew, like, this is not good for me. I shouldn't even be wanting this, knowing what it can do to me. It's going to make the issue worse.
Gonna clog you up
Make
more.
my problem worse.
Right.
And so I remember, like, going out to get cookies, you know, and a thought came to me, like, for me, how can I judge other people from not having I don't want to say control. People who feel like they don't have control over their desires, or their desires cause them to do things that I may look down on, or I may say, you know, they should be doing better. But really, they have a strong desire to do that thing, and they haven't gotten the hang of it.
Right. Yeah.
So who am I to judge them when I'm out here getting cookies,
I'm
knowing
saying, you making a store run too.
right?
Hey, cookies. You
And
get
I'm
cookies
talking,
in the
it could
mist.
be drastic.
It's in the
Right.
midst of the storm.
Uh-huh.
It
Right.
seems simple, but the thought
It's
for
the
me
same.
was such a good example of how to have that empathy we were talking about.
And that's a sobering thought too.
Bruh.
It is. And
Who am I to say?
right.
You know, it could be serious too. Like
Yeah.
cookies versus the worst thing you can
Well,
think
those
about.
are the biggest principles. Like when you find a simplicity in it, there's always a larger ratio.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That's when you find the best principles in the simplicity.
Yep.
Cookies.
bruh. And then it hit me like the only way I can overcome something like this is and this is dying, when you can be uncomfortable with the things you're comfortable with.
Yep.
Like you have to learn to everything that you're comfortable with right now that's not good for you, like eating cookies when you're sick, but you're comfortable with it.
You see it, but you
Just
think when you see
anything,
it.
Yeah.
right?
That's a problem though, yeah.
Yeah, you haven't died to that until you can be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I mean, I feel like
Not
that's the
getting what
only
you
way
want.
through.
I get what you want,
bruh.
right? It's
That's
desires.
dying.
It's what you want, man. Like
Every day, that's a daily thing, and I think anything.
it's
that
not a
we-
one-time thing.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a daily, and that's a trick. And I think if we don't understand that it's daily, then it'll become normal to us, and then we begin to think that way of living is right,
Yeah.
just because we didn't die
Daily.
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 Take up your cross daily.
Daily, if like daily, he's saying it's not a one-time thing. That's why I tell people about the salvation prayer. Like you pray one time, you think no, you born again is every day. You born again every day.
Presto
Every day.
chango.
It's not magic, bro.
It's easy
Right.
and it's hard. It's easy and it's hard.
Right,
because
right.
it can be
Right.
easy because it's the same. You're doing the same thing in every situation.
Yep.
It's just a discipline though.
It's a discipline in the ease of knowing that the one thing is needful. Just dying daily. We can handle. You did a lesson, and we were talking about it before about mastering Christ. And it's funny, man. You maybe talk about it a little bit, but it's funny because mastering Christ fixes everything. Tell us what you were saying about the master. you know how to do it, right?
He about to do that.
Go ahead, tell.
Fire recap.
Tell everybody.
It's like, wow.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was like, go ahead and tell
I
what
want,
you
you to, I,
talking
want,
about.
I want you to sit back in the chair like you do it too, because you be so cool.
I be vibing, dog. I be
The
vibing.
hood be like this sometimes, and you be like,
vibing, bro.
Have y'all watched?
Hey, he still do the look up though. He still do the look up.
He be like, yeah, man. You know what I'm saying?
He still do the look up. He be like
I
this.
don't know why y'all
And,
children like that, man.
Another because that day too, like everybody was so close and the cameras was even closer.
Oh my
And I was just
Oh
like,
my
I don't want
God.
to look right in the
Oh
camera.
my God, he be like this. You right there, put your hands on the screen.
Yeah, like I was sitting right there, and like Leanne was right here with the camera, bro.
Oh my God.
I was kind of like, all right, that's close. Oh, bro.
But tell us about it. Come on, I'm waiting.
Huh?
Tell us about it. Like,
What are we? What am I
Masterclass.
telling you
Mastering
about?
Christ.
Mastering Christ, yeah.
Yeah.
We should master Christ.
Yeah. And then what happens when we master Christ?
Oh my God.
Hey, well, see.
How do we achieve that?
Well, it's how we achieve it, but then like, what does it do? Because there's some things I can run it, but I don't want to run it because
What do we do?
No, just run it, bro.
no, I'm not.
Good, bro.
I'm not.
Yeah. Nah, all right, bro. It's just mastering
You know I was
Christ,
gonna
bro.
do
Turn
that.
it up.
Just master. I mean, I
We
could.
should have a cricket swim.
But you know, if we had this battle,
I know you win.
I would.
I know. Thanks, bro.
We know.
Thanks
We
for.
know.
I'm not even winning, and we just working together. Thank God.
Right.
Oh my God.
'Cause I sit up here like
For an hour.
for an hour, yeah, for real. We had to cut all of this.
We had to cut it. We had to cut the whole thing.
all of this. Nah, but just mastering Christ. Not that conversation came up because it was just talking about how people are so focused on, mastering whatever craft that they are, whatever they have, or whatever their field or their sphere of being is, and so trying to master that thing. But it's like you can get kind of tired out, and it can get kind of daunting, or it can seem kind of challenging, or almost doggone near impossible to master so many things. But if you master Christ, you master yourself. It makes everything that you encounter easier. That's why I know me personally, like there's never anything that I can encounter where I feel like it's going to be too difficult. I can't do it.
Right.
Like I could do all things through Christ. Like that's not even like something that I quote. Like that's just something that I believe.
It's
That's
a
something-
reality. It's a
yeah,
reality.
That's who I am. And so,
Yes.
but once you master like the Christ nature, like Christ, it's just like life gets easy, bro. That's why like I think people. That's why peace, like rest, like chilling, relaxing. I think all that stuff comes easy to me because I believe that part of Christ. I've mastered that, and so I don't be worried about nothing, bro. A lot of people think it's
Ain't worried about
nonchalantness or whatever, but it's just a peace, and it's just an
Yeah.
assurance of Christ and who Christ is in me, to where everything gonna work out for my good regardless.
Yeah, I think it's something they say. It's scripture. And I don't misquote because people gonna start judging again. But like, filleth all things.
Forget them.
It filleth all things. And I think that's the conversation. Like he's the one thing is needful.
Yeah.
You can be cumbered about serving, and serving is not bad because Jesus
not.
called himself a servant. But when you become cumbered about servanthood, we were having this conversation right before, that you become cumbered and worried, and now you become so focused on the getting everything right that you miss
You missed the one thing.
the
main thing.
the main thing that's needful that fills everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like I had to learn that the difficult way, and we were just talking about it a minute ago because I was so passionate or driven by trying to reach people,
Yeah.
and I got to deal with that statement too. But reaching people, sometimes we
Deal
talk
with
about
it.
reaching people or people this.
Yeah.
We be like people this or people that. Like we not people.
Right.
We like people or
Like
somebody
we've
else.
graduated from the class of people.
Yeah, we're no longer people. When in actuality, we talking about reaching people, but we still need to be reached on a daily.
Come on.
That's why he said, take up your cross daily. And so
Yeah.
You never get past that point.
you never get past that point, and that's the beauty.
Yeah.
You'll get bored, worn, and tired out if you ever think that you're past that. You never pass it.
Yep.
And I personally had to learn the hard way because I was doing so much stuff and trying to be all these different things, and I literally burnt out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, and I'm gonna be redundant. They've heard the story before, but I literally burnt out from just trying to do it that way. It didn't
The
mean
mission.
that the mission, the mission,
quotes for a
the
reason.
assignment,
Yeah.
the call,
Yeah.
and all those things are real.
Right.
But you gotta do them from a foundation.
Yep.
And if you don't, you're going to burn
Yeah.
out.
Because you're doing the right thing, you're just doing it the wrong way.
You're doing it
Yeah.
the wrong way.
Yeah.
Right thing, wrong way.
And it doesn't even matter at that point.
Right.
And like you just
Yeah,
defeat the
yeah.
purpose. And then Jesus says, John 14:6, I am the
Way.
Right? So
Yeah.
he's the way to do
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
And so he's telling us that same thing over and over again where we master that. And then it fills everything else. You're daily dying to who you think that you are.
Yeah.
That's when you get rid of the task of doing it. I feel like people see it as a task.
Yep.
Like, let me get this done. I got to do this.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like, it's not you yet. Like, you haven't become this.
And people find comfort in the doing, like in the task list.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people,
You're
they
marking it off
struggling
your
right
list.
now because they so used to having doing all this stuff fill their day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
And so now they don't have all this doing. And so it's like,
Yeah, who am I?
where am I? Because all that has defined me.
But that's the process. So now watch this. Watch this.
Yep.
Deception looks just like that. I was sitting down with Raj. Shout out to Raj. I was sitting down yesterday, and we were just talking, right? And Raj has been home. If you know anything about Raj is he's a worker. Like he's a worker, and he does it all. Like he makes sure you be at church. He'll do other things volunteer wise, but his job is he has a very important job, and so, but he's been home.
Yeah.
You know, that joker told me, man, he came over yesterday. Yesterday was a Saturday. He said he hadn't been out the house since Sunday before when we did RedIn30.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, just come down. We're going to watch Ozark. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. But we ended up starting.
Get out the house.
Get out the house, bro. And then we started talking. And then I realized that he said, man, it's funny. And we were both talking about it, that you can get so busy that you're not productive. The business is being taken care of, and you're doing things, but you're not producing.
Yep.
So it's dope. It's a dope segue. Thanks God. Like he always, he the plug, man. Like he's always, sometimes we be trying to figure out which way we gonna go with this. We were talking about before. Like, all right, what we gonna start with? Where we gonna go? But it's like,
we never know.
nah, we just gonna start.
Yeah.
Jesus, I take it to heart. Jesus said, take no script. Don't take, when it's time to say it, you don't know what to say.
Literally.
But we're not producing, and it leads to the part where, and I think we should name this, is that people are not projects, they're produce. You know what I'm saying? Not products. You know what I'm saying? Although there's production, but they're produce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I heard, shout out to Richard Wilkinson, and I was Mike Todd on that. I usually don't call name, but I'm shout out to him. Everybody's Instagram Live, and church. Instagram Live is the new church. They bringing on singers and everything, so they were on that other night. And I was on there for a split second, just listening to some things, but I heard Rich say something. He said, I guess sometimes we fail to be like Jesus in a lot of our walks and in our Christian duties because we make people projects. And so we're looking at people and we're seeing what in our viewpoint, what's wrong with them or what needs to be fixed. Mind you, Jesus says, don't try to get something out your brother, a twig out your brother eye when you got a plank in your own.
Right.
He's saying something there.
Yeah.
Right? But we make people the projects, and now we're trying to fix people.
Yeah.
But that's not the goal. We had a talk right before this too, and I said, Jesus ain't changed nobody.
Yeah.
Nah, I know right now everybody like, even you did. He's like, hold on, what you mean? Let me think about it. And I said, well, Jesus didn't change anybody.
Yeah.
He told a woman who was taking adultery.
Yeah.
He said, he delivered her, saved her, and it was super simple how he did it.
So simple.
Right? You just say, well, he was our sin cast the first stone. They all have to leave. And then he tells her, where's your accusers? He said, I don't accuse you. No. He said, go and sin no more.
Sin no more.
It's more like a demonstration.
And that's what he was talking about.
Yeah.
He said, we have to lead people. Rich was saying you have to lead people by example and by demonstration versus trying to teach them.
You know how much time we spend thinking we're supposed to be teaching?
I know.
And I don't mean like standing in the pulpit like like a pastor, but a lot of I'm gonna say believers still think that's why we get those. Oh my God, I didn't even realize that was they think they have to do like how you get those text message chains or you get those long phone calls or like people on Instagram, Facebook doing like what are you trying to achieve in reality, like in real life? Because all of these messages, we keep saying I feel like it's an excuse when we say, well, it's a seed, we're throwing out seeds. I didn't see Jesus doing that. He said what he had to say, and he said, if you do understand me, it's for you. If you don't, it's not.
Right.
Like he didn't spend a lot of time explaining, like, hey, you over there, let me spend some time breaking it down to you. Oh no, it's almost like you're good with this. Either you're coming or you're not.
Right.
If he would have, them 3 years would have turned into 33 years, boy.
Yeah,
he would have been here much longer.
I was wondering. Somebody asked me one time. They texted me, and she said, "Well, why?" She said, "Can you tell me why Jesus only stayed for 3 years? Like why? We always talk about long life and everything, but why he left then?" And that's when it hit me. It was a question that formed, and I was like, he was finished doing what he was doing, but he was so precise And I think our understanding of what needs to be done is in the wrong lane.
Yeah.
We're micromanaging.
Micromanaging.
We micromanage life instead of letting life be what it is.
And we have a lot of fillers. I think God will say something very accurate.
Yep.
And so it's
Yeah,
very.
we're shooting in the dark.
And I feel like we're trying to fill in all those spaces when you're not really hearing anything, but you know you're supposed to be doing something. So now you just like you're filling in space because when you're really not being accurate, you're just like, well, let me be positive today and shoot out something that somebody might need. Jesus was saying what he had to say when he had to say.
And if he had nothing to say, he wasn't saying nothing.
Nothing, bro. Sleep, chilling.
Yeah, because that's one of the best things that I've learned about Jesus recently. Is and I know it's a trigger word right now, essential, but it was like Jesus was an essentialist.
Yep.
Like he didn't worry about all the excess. He was very
cut the fat.
Yeah, just give me this is it right here.
That's all.
Like he wasn't all over the place. Like actually, let's go over here tonight. Let's go.
Right.
No.
You know how many
Like,
programs he could have started?
He could have.
No, absolutely. Program, churches,
Oh my God.
Different
conferences,
ministries,
revivals, all that. You know, Jesus could have set up shop in one place and told everybody to come to him.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
I had that. I keep talking about what I got to change, and I just be learning so much.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Let's go.
Because I used to have friends that would get upset with me.
That should be everybody that's listening right
It
now.
should be everybody listening, dog. Like, I would have people that would be upset with me because I grew up church, faith, speak the truth, say the right things, your confession. And so then I grew up, I started ministering young. So immediately when somebody brings something to you, you're always trying to fix it.
Right.
And sometimes it don't need to be fixed, it needs to be heard.
Yeah. And that's a man thing too.
Oh, bro, you hear that? And it needs to be, it's a man thing, right? It needs to be heard because he said, as I hear,
Yeah.
I judge.
yeah.
Not as I see a problem.
Right. I fix it.
Come on.
True.
Say it again.
Let me sit in this for a little while.
True story,
Did y'all
bro.
hear that?
True story, bro.
That's real.
Bro,
That's good.
Yeah.
bro just changed my life.
Yeah.
My skin is tight right now. I don't know what's up. Like, he didn't say, as I see a problem, I fix it. He says, I hear, I judge.
You know that time I realized.
Oh, my God. So Paul said faith comes by hearing. Yo, I know it looks funny, but come on, y'all put it together. As I hear, I judge. So that means as I hear,
Yeah.
I do whatever it is by. So that faith, we had it backwards, bro.
Yeah.
We thinking faith coming by us hearing about faith, but we done heard about faith for years and didn't change.
Yeah.
But it said,
Say it. Keep
it
talking.
says
I know,
when bro, like it's going in my head. Like faith shows
to get it
up
out.
when you hear.
Yeah.
You get it?
It pulls it out.
It pulls it out. So it's really not you
it's an
developing
avenue.
anything.
It comes through.
Produce.
Yeah.
It's
Come on, bro.
okay. This podcast is almost like nothing for me right now. Cause bro, right? Faith comes by and hearing by the word of God. Who's the word of God? In the flesh. So. So as I gotta calm down. I'm gonna go back to this cause this is such a real moment. Cause
for real.
as I hear, I judge. Now all I'm saying, cause I have to. I would have a problem. I would think I'm listening. I would think I'm hearing what somebody's saying.
That's dope.
But really, what I'm doing is listening for a problem, and then I'm gonna pull a solution out my,
Yeah.
it might be my spiritual,
Yeah.
but I'm gonna pull a solution out,
Right.
Yeah.
whether it's the one that you need or not. I'm gonna give you the generic, but I don't think it's generic.
Right.
I'm supposed to tell you what
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just like,
Because it'd be something a lot of times it'd be something that's proven already too.
True.
So it's like, oh yeah, let me pull this because it's proven. I know this will work.
I heard this last year and he made it.
but now you
Is that what
got
this person needs right
now you got two different types of spit. Jesus spit directly in one blind dude's eyes.
Yeah.
now? Yep.
Right? The other one, he put some dirt in and then mixed it.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Like different ways. But as I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just because I'm only doing.
And look,
Will it fall?
when you said it's not because when I see I fix something when I see a problem. Remember that time we realized that Jesus wasn't walking around canceling
Yes,
all
I
the
thought about that.
crucifixion?
Yeah,
he wasn't around there feeding everybody that couldn't eat.
He wasn't marching.
Right.
He wasn't an advocate for things like that. You know how many crucifixions were happening? They were killing people.
Right.
I'm sure some of those people was innocent. If they put him up there for healing people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
he wasn't on no
he
march.
wasn't up there stopping that stuff, stopping the killings, ending the wars, fighting for this. I stand for this. I stand for that. I never heard that. He wasn't around there fixing problems.
That wasn't the plan.
It was like a one-on-one.
Wasn't the plan. What did I say that? You know, we get so caught up on charity. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you did.
I forgot what I was. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find. No, I put it in my notes. I'm gonna find it. Cause hold on. Let me go back and look. I ain't gonna look for it long though, cause crickets.
Yeah, but a lot of people do that though. A lot of people, they take these movements and stuff and they attach themselves to it because it gives them some sense of purpose. But Jesus' purpose wasn't about none of that stuff.
Nah, not one bit of it.
When I say he ain't waste no time.
That's why you say the poke will be with you always.
That's the truth. That's the truth.
Go ahead, you can feed them as long as you want, but they still gonna be hungry.
Oh my God.
Right.
They still gonna be homeless. They still gonna be this. They still gonna be that.
I can't find it.
And it's the fact that why did we turn Christianity into that anyway? Into this
it's a self thing.
Save the world. To be honest, we're already saved. Like, what do you think you doing? You know what I'm saying?
Jesus didn't change.
For him to have to die on the cross, like he could have done a whole bunch of stuff that's considered saving the world.
He could have kept going.
He ain't died.
Actually, he was asking about that when he said, "Lord, if you can't let this
go past me."
He's like, I could really do some more good things.
Yeah.
He was like, nah, this is it. You got to put your money where your mouth at.
He could have been doing good things.
It is the key of, I got another concept, and I've said this before, but I don't want to say it because people get scared about living and dying and all that stuff, and they don't understand it. But he was very efficient in his time.
Yeah. Gotta be, bro.
I think he did the most he was going to do in the amount of time for the section of time that he was. Now, does that mean that everybody got to leave at 33? Clearly not, because I'm 37.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that the works that I do, so you do also, and greater works. He's saying you're going to be efficient in your time of doing things. You know what I'm saying? But the only way to do that, oh my God, red words, I love you. Red words, Jesus, I love. The only way that you're going to do that is by becoming that.
Yeah.
You can't do it without being it. You get it? And that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
The impact you're trying to make.
I'm live on air right now. I'm actually getting questions answered in my head.
Yeah.
Because these are the conversations that I have. I don't be on God like, hey, God, tell me. It's not that. It's just, I know it's in here and I know it's there to be revealed, but just let me be in a position of humility. And, well, that's the word. Jesus says, come unto me, all you that labor.
Yeah, heavy laden.
You're busy. You're seeing stuff. You're trying to invoke change. You're trying to help people. You're micromanaging people. You're laboring heavy laden. He said, I'll give you rest. He said, take my yoke upon me and learn. My yoke upon you and learn of me. He could have said, I'm holy and righteous. He could have said, I'm
just
good and great. You know what I'm saying? He could have said, I'm powerful and supernatural. He didn't say any of those things.
Nope.
The two he decided to say was, I'm meek and lowly in heart.
Yep.
It's everything right there.
We already talked about what meekness was. I ain't got the time to go back. Meekness, no self-assertiveness. No self-assertiveness. No, you're taking everything on as it is. Right?
Yep.
And lowly means always staying to the ground. You never getting so high that you're not grounded.
Right.
Then he says you'll find rest for your soul. So here's the key.
That's the key.
You stop learning. Wow, you can't even. Wow. The moment that you're high and mighty, you can't learn Jesus. Oh God.
That was, I'm happy you hit it from the wise and the prudent.
Bro,
Yeah.
And some you become as a
child.
Oh my God, bro.
You're not gonna see it if you were trying to.
Not.
Actually,
it's
you're
reprobate.
trying too much.
Oh, you think you got it?
You're trying too hard.
Yes. And so now we have this concept. So now this is where it comes from.
And that's how you judge.
That's what the concept.
Yourself in the moment. Are you trying to do something?
Yeah, and you're going to remember I said that the greatest law and the commandment, love the Lord your God, all your heart, your mind, soul. The second, love your neighbors, love yourself. Remember we talked about it. That's really a statement of what is already. So that really means however you identify yourself with God, love, right? Love's identity. You're identifying yourself with your neighbor.
Yeah.
So that means you're trying to make your neighbor a project because you believe you're a project.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
the truth. That's the truth.
I mean, look at relationships. Like people date people.
Oh my God.
as projects
Man, we
all the
trying to
time.
fix
Let's not go there.
Let's fix them. We're
Yeah.
trying to
Let's
fix
not
them.
go there.
Yeah, we're trying to fix them.
That's
Trying to
the
get
truth.
your
That's the truth, man.
Wow.
But that's only a reflection of how they view themselves, though.
only reflection of how you view yourself. And now, because you think, watch this. I'm going to change your mind. I'm going to change everybody's mind. And if you can catch this, this will be great. All right, this will be one of our best podcasts. All right, watch this. That you are not one of God's projects.
Man.
True story.
If anything, you're not God's project, you're his projection. And you're
Produce.
and you're his produce. So now people are not projects, they're produce.
Yes.
You know, it's not something that we're working on and we're trying to see if it works or not. No, I
Right.
know it is because it's me.
It's already absolute.
It's already absolute. The only experiments are the things on the outside of you. You know, you send them in the garden to be tempted, tested, experimented. Right? They're on the outside of you, but you are already equipped to be because you are.
Yep.
You are.
So now, all right, so if I love my neighbors, I love myself, then maybe the reason that we go to everybody, and maybe because we're the wrong way judgmental, or we're condemning, or we're condescending, or whatever we want to say, is because that's how we think.
But you can't even do that if you lowly in heart, though.
Right.
If you at a low place.
You can't.
You can't do it.
Ain't
You
nowhere
can't
else-
condescend.
Ain't nobody get under you if you at the flow,
Right.
Yep.
right?
Right.
And people don't know this. You ready for this?
That's the cross you're bearing.
People don't know this.
Yeah. Nah, true. Yeah.
You ready for what people don't know? God is on the flow.
Come on.
I like that.
He's not in the sky.
God is on the floor.
Think about where the power comes from.
I like that.
The center of the earth. Think about the center of the earth. Where the power comes from.
God is on the flow.
What?
Yeah. I like that.
And when you one with God, you're on the flow.
You on
You
the
can't
flow.
be one with him unless you're on the flow.
Yep. Everybody won't be up high on high though.
Bruh.
Wouldn't that be the greatest
I got
trick,
something
though?
to say. I'm just
Yo.
saying that's how they be.
Yeah.
Hey, I got something to say.
Say it, girl.
Yeah. Like, wouldn't that be the
Right.
greatest mystery?
Bruh.
Yeah.
Low here, low there. God on the flow. He grounded.
Everybody looking everywhere else. Right there, bro. Nah, that's perfect. That's perfect. That's perfection. That is perfection, bro.
And so if I think God is in the sky, then as I believe, be unto me according to my faith. So that's why I've been trying to look down on people. Not personally me, but not personally you guys, but like we tend to think that I'm better than somebody. Now, mind you, I'm not saying that people don't need
I was
to.
just about to say that.
Well, we don't, not people, I got to say that we don't need to change. Like people,
I
somebody else, right?
feel like people should look at their approach.
We should look at our approach.
No, yeah.
I'm saying people.
We
but-
should look at our approach. I feel like me included with other
I don't
people.
like catch the vibe.
I
Catch the
don't-
That's the Bible. That's the Holy Ghost.
I don't want
Shut up.
listeners to think that we're not talking about them because they're not looking down on anybody. per
Well,
se.
what is
But-
looking down on somebody? Think about
But
that
that's
for a
what
minute.
I'm saying. It's your approach to what you think you're supposed to be doing with other people around. We're saying when you go in thinking you are, sometimes you think you're helping, and that whole approach of how you came in, maybe you're approaching it wrong. It's like a look down on.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
Guaranteed. Because watch this. One with God. We cool with that concept?
Yep.
If anybody's first time watching it, don't get all scared. Go watch the other ones. You don't make any judgments, right?
Go look at Jesus.
Go look at Jesus, right? And John 17, which is today's for us, today's reading, right? But then, one with God, then the greatest commandment, love Lord your God with all your heart, your mind, your soul. Identify God, identify yourself with God, right? And the second was just like this, identify your neighbor as you've identified yourself. So now there is no down,
Right.
there's equal,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Then the only reason there could be different levels or different placements is because you don't know you're one with God.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But this becomes the conversation.
Yep.
So for me, and we're going to do the etymology in a minute for the word produce,
Mm-hmm.
but for me now people are produce
Mm-hmm.
because, you know, you go in the store, you see produce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in the produce aisle, there's no candy, there's no, you know, meats or anything like that. There's no nothing else. There's no juice or nothing. In the produce aisle, it's straight produce. It's straight stuff that's grown, fruits and vegetables.
That's what this section is for.
Which is great that everybody needs to be on produce right now while we're talking about
Right.
you know, viruses and stuff. But that's another conversation. But it's produce, and so now when we see people as that, then we realize that everybody will see people, see us as that. I'm trying to correct myself just for a minute. Not that I'll never use the word people again, but I have to, not as somebody else as us, right? When we see us as our process and a produce, right, then we realize that we're still growing.
Mm-hmm. Always.
We're still growing, and we cannot wrap the gavel on somebody because of our moral standards of what we think, because there's still a growth in progress.
Mm-hmm.
A growth, you know, they say work in progress is a growth in process.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
And so sometimes, but once again, we were talking about it before, because we don't, we want to micromanage.
Yeah.
Then we think we don't sow like we should.
Yeah.
Right? We wanna sow and put our hands in the ground with the seed and then break it open. We wanna crack it open.
Don't work like that.
It don't work like that.
Yeah.
It never works like that. If you ever do it like that, it will not work.
Right.
Matter of fact, you got your hands on too much, and that's why nothing's growing.
Come on.
You keep on making your suggestions, and you
Let
keep
it
on
go.
doing, and it can't grow.
Let it go.
And what's crazy about growth is sometimes you got to sit back and let the seed die.
Yep. You do.
And not see any progress for the longest. With
That's what I'm saying.
faith, hope, and trust that what the seed is supposed to do, it will.
Yep.
That's the place where we have a problem.
Yep.
Jesus didn't.
At all.
All right, I got a good one.
At all.
Can we do a story right quick?
Yeah.
Jesus, the blind man, Jesus spit in the dirt. They say he made spittle, whatever that is, right? Just his mud spit, whatever, right?
Let's make some after the show.
Let's make some at the show. I go outside.
Hey.
Oh, hey, we can start selling spittle, boy.
What?
People take some
Hey,
spittle right
the
now.
cure
boy.
for coronavirus is this spittle we got.
They'll be like, sign me up. What a cash app. Right?
OMG, what a cash app.
Hey, what a cash app. Hey, but he puts it in the man's eyes, all right? And he says, go wash. Right? It didn't say Jesus walked him to the pool.
Right.
Jesus made a little spittle and then put in his eyes and then led him to the pool.
Did Jesus walk up to the man first?
I don't even know how it started. Let me see.
Probably not.
Let me see. I think he was hollering. Was he the one that hollered?
Bro, I really love the word spittle.
Bruh.
I don't know why. It's marketable too.
It is.
It is.
Spittle.
Hey.
We're gonna exit out the thing, so we're
I
gonna
bet you they don't have that
we're gonna trademark spittle.
Hey, X this part out.
Spittle.com.
Uh-oh.
You already know what time that is.
Domain king, boy.
Boy.
Oh, Jesus says as John 9 says, Jesus passed by. So he wasn't coming today. He passed by. He saw a man that was blind from his birth. And his disciples asked him, saying, Master, who did sin, his man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus said, neither. See, we go straight to sin. We go straight to
every
why
time.
is something wrong with somebody.
Every time. What they did wrong?
Right, what they did wrong, right?
What they messed up at?
In their definition of sin, he said, neither his man sin nor his parents, but the works of God should be made manifest in him. I must work the works of him that sent me while it is day. The night cometh when no man can work. Verse 5, as long as I'm in the world, I am the light of the world. Now he's talking so much slang because the guy's in the dark.
Yeah.
And he said, I got to work while it's day because night coming. Come on, man.
Yeah.
This man, bars. And when he had thus spoken,
I spit hot fire.
spit literally, because the next thing he said, he thus spoke, he spat on the ground and made clear the spittle, spittle.com, and he anointed the eyes of the blind man with the clay.
They gonna be on that site tomorrow.
Oh
bro.
my God. We're gonna have it
Spittle.
too. Matter of fact, check and see. It ain't available.
It's not available.
What is it?
Hey, bro, who got that domain?
I bet some church person got it and ain't doing nothing with
Doing
it.
nothing with it. Oh,
I
squatting.
bet look at us, spittle.com, but
Probably
ain't
was
nothing on
something
there,
you
huh? I bet they'll try to sell it to you for $3,300.
That's all right, man.
Verse 7.
3,300 be like 33,000.
Right, 33,000.
For
How
a
bad do you want
domain.
it? And he said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam. I don't see the part where Jesus walked with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. That's what we do though. We want to walk with them, make sure they go. You almost into the pool.
Now, why? Why do we do it? We don't know. Why do we do it? Why do we do this? Because we're not meek. No, I just we think we're meek because we're friendly. No, we always make a new definition out of something that's already defined.
Oh,
like meekness
bro.
means friendly. No, meekness ain't
Who
meekness.
says that?
Yeah, all
The
right.
people just say stuff. Love means show a hug. No, love don't mean hug. Love is identity. Stop redefining stuff.
Yeah.
But why do we need to follow through? Because we need
Validation.
we need validation,
Yeah.
and we want to say that we raised them. Majority of the people, oh man,
That's why the whole approach is wrong, I think.
because we doing it for
That's
us.
why you first of all, Jesus wouldn't, I don't think Jesus would even describe what he was doing as on a mission.
You have to.
You know what I'm saying?
I believe
Like,
it.
he was literally out here living. Like,
So low, I don't know why.
yeah.
It was life. He was life.
Right. Like, he didn't
That's
have
it.
to come into a situation approaching it like he had to achieve something. Or, he thought about this before walking into it. He didn't think about nothing before walking into anything.
Because he wasn't self-serving and self-deserving though. Like it wasn't one of them things where he needed validation.
Right, because I don't like he wasn't going around saying, I did this and I did that. And, I just left from feeding like 5,000 people.
Never did it. Never did it.
Like, he wasn't going like spewing the
wasn't doing
things that
his
he
stats.
had done.
He
Yeah,
wasn't on his stat line.
he wasn't doing that.
All he had to do was check John because John had questions
Right.
that one time.
And he had to check. The mother was like, "Who the men say that I am?
Yeah.
You ain't
Yeah.
5,000." But I think his oneness with God was such an identity that I didn't need anything. Jesus said, "I closed the door for you because I don't need y'all testimony. I don't need testimony of men. I don't need y'all to say if I'm good or not. So I'm gonna slam the door on y'all. Who gonna do that? You can't name somebody right now that's gonna slam the door on new business. You know what I'm saying? Come on, we business, we got churches, whatever, right? We're gonna slam the door on people. Like, nah, you can't. Maybe we would. You know what I'm saying?
Depending, yeah.
Because we come from a different stock. But I'm saying, most people ain't doing that.
Right.
And the reason he did it, because I don't need y'all to glorify me. Because my testimony don't come from man. I've already been testified of.
Right.
Y'all get it? It's the different, and we want to say also we want credit.
Yeah.
We want to tally. People witness it right now because they want the crown,
Bruh. Hey, that's true.
and they want a pat on the back. Oh, you did a good job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you
Who
being,
cares?
Say it again. Who cares?
Hit the button. Who cares?
Oh, bro. We making a button tonight. We making a button tonight. Who cares?
Who cares? Hit them at the same time saying, who cares? Who?
You being meek and lowly is
Oh,
the
bro.
witness. And that's going to change
the
more
witness.
people. Because that's the example people don't see enough of.
Let me tell you
Not
something.
truly.
Let me tell you something. Being meek.
See everybody go around with their cameras and stuff.
Listen, be powerful.
For everything.
and for somebody who's really powerful to be meek, like literally, I will be following you around.
No.
Wait, what are your ways?
No,
Because you're not
That's Jesus.
pronouncing it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, it's like on the road.
Hold on. Not only don't tell
Wait, I'm
nobody.
so interested in how
But you have just done the most amazing thing anybody has seen. Like the blind dude said that. One of the blind dudes said he was like, "Yo, y'all call a man a sinner." He said, "I don't know whether he's a sinner or not.
Right. But what I do know.
What I do know is I want some.
Who cares?
I know that y'all ain't never seen this before.
Right.
You have never
Right.
seen anybody do this since the beginning of time.
Right.
And then this guy slips out the crowd.
Yep.
This guy
Gone.
says, "Why you call me good? Ain't nothing good but one." This guy is this guy like.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I want to be. It's not see, people want the miracles and the signs and wonders, but this is another segue to something, because people are produce. So because people are produce, no produce comes up overnight.
Right.
Every produce is submitted to a process.
Everyone.
Every produce is submitted to a process.
In the same process.
And the same process, right? So watch this. So because of the process, miracles are not magic. So don't think that it's gonna be like.
Yeah.
See, we read the Bible like that because it's like that, but that ain't how it goes.
Good point.
Name a miracle. Just name one of them.
Water into wine.
Process. Gallons and gallons and gallons and gallons of water
Process.
in 6 big pots that they had to take down and fill up with water. Then they had to serve it on GP. They had to serve it on GP, believing that what Jesus said was for sure. You know, people got killed for stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like for not coming through what you said.
Yeah.
You go to the ruler of the party, you give him water when he asks for wine. That could end up being murder.
Off with his head.
Off with his head. Off with his head. So now, process.
Process.
But we never learned it as a process because we read it in about 10 scriptures.
Yeah. Happened quick.
Right? The man just now we talking about, go wash. He has to go to Siloam. I don't know how far the pool of Siloam is,
Right.
but I'm sure it wasn't right there. Because Jesus would have said, dunk your head in the water.
How about he could have rolled over?
Yeah, right. No, he says, so it's a process.
Process.
Take up your bed and walk.
Yep.
Take up your bed and walk. These are steps.
Yep.
Process. Woman with the issue of blood had to press through the crowd after she had gone through a process of trying everything else. And we like, oh, no, this is a process. Her faith was in a process.
Right.
It was a produce. Come on, we can go on and on and on.
You know what I'm thinking? Most people don't say this as a miracle, but Zacchaeus changing his life like that and
Yeah,
giving things back, that's a
miracle.
process.
That's a miracle. And what the process
the
was?
thought process of his belief changed like that.
I'm coming to your house, and
Bruh.
then he goes to the house, and nobody knows. Shout out to Judah. I heard this in Jesus' book. Nobody knows how long he stayed there and talked.
Yep.
Nobody knows.
Right.
But you let him in your house. That's step one. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Then he knew your name, and you invited this dude over to your house, knowing that y'all don't believe the same sometimes. You know what I'm saying? Like this. So the miracles are produce.
Yep.
Yeah.
So now the people are not projects, right? Produce.
Yep.
People. We are.
Yeah.
You are. You are. I am. Everybody in this
Thank
room
God.
is a product. Is a produce and a product. So that means you have been produced. And you are a product of something else, right?
Yep.
Now, what do you trace your production to? Guaranteed, we all can trace our lives, and we can really dissect things. We can trace a lot of these ways we have to a certain product, either from parents or either from situations or schooling or whatever it is, and we can trace it that way. But if we go back to the one with God and my original place, then I am a product of God.
Yeah.
Yep.
Even with my shortcomings, even with my failures, even with my stank ways sometimes,
Yeah.
I'm a product of God. And if I believe that, then my process will flow more.
Yep.
And then my process towards others. So Jesus
Yeah.
actually is able to sow into others without condemnation
Yeah.
or without the wrong kind of judgment, because he wasn't thinking of himself as good, number one.
He said it.
Yeah.
Just context for people.
Yeah, he didn't. Why you call me good? Ain't nothing good but one. So he
Yeah.
doesn't think of himself good. So therefore, now when I see you, we're not talking based on good and evil.
Yep.
Hey, that's real, bro.
Yep.
Because most of what we, hey, we're not meeting on the line of who good and who not good. That's not what this conversation is about right now.
Right.
We're talking from a place of God's will and not God's will.
Yeah.
Point blank. Yep.
And
That's
God's will don't always look good.
That's the thing.
True.
You can't base it off of
Did-
what you think.
True.
Did he go through naming every single thing they had to fix in their life to get everything
He
right?
didn't do it. He didn't do it. He didn't do it.
One thing.
Matter of fact, Jesus
Go
didn't
and
even.
sin no more.
He wasn't even
Whatever
calling
that means for
people.
you.
He wasn't even calling people like, here, now, watch this. This is what we'd have done. Woman taken in adultery. First thing we'd have said, now how you got over there? we'd have done the little. We might have done the he without saying. We probably wouldn't have. We'd be like, y'all better leave this girl alone. Who was in there with her? You know what I'm saying? All kinds of nope.
No, we would have condemned her
But let's just say we got past it.
for sure.
Well, that's step one.
Yeah.
I think we would have listened. I
She
think.
nothing wrong with her now. She down there with her, right? But let's just say we got past the drawing in the sand and we said he doesn't. Even he said, where your accusers? You know, he was like, well, listen, let me tell you how to live your life. That's what we'd have done.
And then we would have called her next week. How you making it? How you coming?
Follow up.
You coming back?
Uh-huh.
That ain't the process.
Yep.
Matter of fact, we were talking about it again. You don't even hear a rehash of him going back and talk to any people that he went to before. Matter of fact, I actually accidentally found out that the dude that he got, that he freed from the demons and the chains and everything, he wanted to come with him and say, no, go back and tell the people.
He did that a few times.
Next chapter, he comes back to the same city, and that's where the woman with the issue of blood gets healed.
Yeah.
You know
What
what
about
I'm
the Samaritan lady? That short conversation, and she went back to her town,
And told
totally
everybody-
different,
and told
and changed
everybody.
other people, right?
And told him, come, y'all need to come hear this man.
See that one thing, though? Like, yeah.
One thing is needful.
Essential.
Oh, yo. I guarantee with every issue, or every problem, or every change that needs to be made in a life or in your life or somebody's life, I guarantee there's only one thing needful. I'm not talking generic like, Christ is what you need. That's true. But I guarantee all the things you're trying to do to get things straight, there's probably one thing you can hit. It's like a pressure point and it'll straighten everything out.
It is.
Yeah.
Man, I love, this podcast here.
Yeah.
I don't know who talking on this podcast. This podcast here.
Go.
Jesus here. What up, bro?
What? Word. The gap
All
up.
right, bro.
Yeah.
No, he talking, bro.
Dog.
Yeah, no,
He
that's
talking, bro,
really.
because,
it's a golden.
man, that's it, bro. So now we got to stop treating people like projects
Or ourselves.
or ourselves.
All
We
around.
stop treating ourselves, and then we'll
And
stop
others.
treating others. Like projects, we're not God's projects. We're His produce.
Yep.
We're His products. And when we believe that we come from Him and that we are His products, then we'll see that said person is His product too. I think we run people away, run ourselves away, and I think we mess up the progress of life by trying to do it the way that we think it's supposed to be done. You get it?
Yeah.
And it just messes everything up.
Yeah.
So don't be so quick to speak, so quick to fix,
Yep.
become it.
No,
And chill.
no project. Yeah.
Yeah, don't
Yeah.
project project. Good. Don't project.
Love that.
And become a projection. That's it. That's it. I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
I think that's clear, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Yeah.
I feel good.
We could talk like 20 more minutes, but they ain't gonna get no clearness already, guys.
We're
Yeah.
going to repeat everything we just said.
Yeah.
And all this found in the red words.
Yep.
Yep.
All this is found inside of the gospel.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I do know that I'm going to change me.
Me too.
I think.
Me too.
I think.
No, you three.
You
Me
three.
three.
Me three. Yeah, me three. I think.
Okay.
I think the beginning. I think the beginning starts with changing. Huh?
Gotcha.
Oh, the produce.
Produce.
Yeah, come on.
Produce.
Shout out, Jam. I know you're talking about.
We'll educate you guys a little bit.
Let's do the etymology of the word produce.
Produce.
And it's so cool. We're gonna read this, and we'll be.
Yeah, it means develop, proceed, extend. It comes from the Latin term producer,
Yep.
which means to lead or bring forth,
Oh,
draw
so dope.
out.
So dope. So like when people are produce, right? You're developing, proceeding, extending them, extending God in them. You're leading them and drawing them and bringing them forth.
Ah, man.
Leadership is really.
Bringing them forward. Yeah.
Come on,
But I gotta keep reading. We could go through the figurative definition, which is to promote, empower, stretch out, extend. And then so
People are produce, bro.
pro of produce means before, forth. And then deuce, which is doucir, is to bring, lead. And it means a sense of bringing into being.
What you said?
Sense
Pro.
of bringing into being.
Pro is like before. So you were brought into being before.
Yeah.
You know, you say you induce something. You can induce something like you can induce it, like you can make it happen.
That you bring something forth.
Right. Like they induce labor sometimes. I mean, they do chemicals or whatever to make it happen, right? But if you produce, that means you already been
bring it into being. What was already there?
People. We are
Ah, man.
produce. I wanna.
Yeah, that's the seed being.
Well, the seed.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because the Bible says this, and it says, as long as the earth remaineth, it could have said so many different things.
Yeah.
On the earth remaineth, like I said, glory and honor. You know what I'm saying?
Dominion
Praise and worship.
power.
Right? He said, as long as the earth.
You do this thing with your eyebrows when you sing it. It's so funny. Yes. It's like you trying hard.
No, it's actually
No, they say
quite easy.
No, they say when you're singing a high note, you gotta look up. You gotta.
Dominion. Hey, look at me. Dominion.
Yo, you laughing too hard,
He's
my
laughing
guy.
too hard.
You laughing
Hey,
too hard, my
Oh
guy.
my God, bro.
That's his singing face, bro.
Hey.
Dominion.
He said, as long as the earth, man, let me go. We about to lose this one.
Okay,
As
no,
long as
we
the earth
back. We
remaineth,
back. We back.
seed time and harvest. Okay. Hey, y'all. God bless you.
We gonna do this seed. Charles about to break down the seed.
Oh yeah, no, it's good.
No, that's
Go
it.
ahead.
That's it. I'm done.
No, it's good.
We gonna talk about
That's
the
good.
seed.
No,
Because I wanted to bring this up. We talked earlier about lowly at heart and stuff,
Okay.
and
because
God on the ground.
God on the ground,
Okay.
right? Because he said, as long as the earth remain, there's seed time and harvest. Didn't say nothing else. So that means
Sure did.
everything is a seed and everything is a harvest.
Yep,
Everything.
everything.
That's it.
Yeah, and where you sow at?
On the ground.
On the ground, bro.
And what Jesus said, I'm meek and
Lowly.
on the ground.
Yep. Yep.
Where you grow at?
On the ground.
On the ground.
Yep.
All right.
Love it.
Yep.
Love it.
That's it.
Well, that's been Red30, red30.com, the podcast. Share it with somebody.
I wanted to say something.
Say
I
something.
thought you.
You thought I what? You thought I said what I had to say?
Thought you had.
No, I had something else to say, Nakia. Can I speak? Do I have to raise my eyebrows to speak, or can I speak?
Oh my God.
We won't be talking like this all day.
Red words. No, I wanted to encourage people to actually get in on the cycles, man, and actually read. Because
Yeah.
like the red words, like the more you read them, they actually are projections. Like they actually like pop up off of the pages, and you can see it so
Yeah.
vividly, bro.
Does.
Because
He's wagging his finger.
You got something good to say.
No, I do. Because
I
we
know.
talk about it. We've been talking a lot before.
Yeah.
But and that same thing about him washing his spittle.
Mm-hmm.
And he, eyes of a blind man.
The brand.
He said, watch this, verse 7, I'm going to read it fast. Stop, Siri, this is not your turn. Verse 7, and he said unto him, go wash in the pool of Siloam. And now go wash in the pool of Siloam is red. It's red words.
Oh yeah.
Right? And it said, which is by interpretation sent. So go wash in the pool of sent.
Sent.
That's God. Jesus is saying something too. You've been
Sent.
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 So act like you've been sent. Okay.
Before.
You shouldn't be blind. Because if you were sent, you wouldn't be blind.
What?
The only reason you're blind is you're acting like you're not sent.
Sent.
So I need to go wash in there. He went his way therefore. They said a guy went his way therefore and washed and came seeing. The neighbors therefore was there before had seen him that he was blind and said, is this not he that sat and begged? It was a question mark. Some said, this is he. Others said, he is like him. But he said, I am he. So the guy said, I'm the one. Therefore, they
something
said to
different.
him, there's something different. They said, how were your eyes open? Watch this. Verse 11, he answered and said, a man that is called Jesus made clay, spittle, made clay and anointed mine eyes and said unto me. Now this is the guy talking, right? But for some reason this passage, when he said unto me, and then he says what Jesus said, the words turn red again. Go to the pool of Siloam and washed. And I went and washed and I received sight. Verse 12 it said, then they said to him, where is he? And he said, I know not. Jesus dipped out.
Yeah.
But the fact that when he repeated what Jesus said, his
Yeah.
words became red.
Yeah.
Bar. When you repeat what
But Jesus said,
your words become red.
Hey. Oh.
When you repeat what Jesus oh, your words become
No,
red.
oh my God. So you are the red words.
Yep.
No, but when you're rehearsing and repeating what Jesus said, your words really become red.
Your
like
words
I said.
become red. Yep.
Yeah.
We're gonna make a nursery rhyme out of that because that's gonna be with some kids.
All right.
When you
Would.
repeat what Jesus said.
Don't give it to him now. Don't give it to him. Don't give it to
What
him.
Jesus said. Come on. Come on.
All your words turn red. When you repeat.
It's gonna release spring 2020.
All your words turn red. You repeat.
Spring 2020.
All your words turn red. Hey, we all God bless you. Red30.com. That's all like.
For sure.
The hip to the hip hop of the hip hop.
Happy don't stop.
Red30.com. Get in the cycles. Follow us at Red30 on Twitter.
Oh my God.
At Red30 on Instagram. Share with your friends. We're gonna try to get as many people we can on the next cycle.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all ain't doing nothing now. No way. Everybody
No
quarantined.
way.
Yep.
So we might be red. We might be quarantined and RedIn30.
Yep.
RedIn30 quarantine.
Yep.
You got time today.
That's a judge.
You got time. You got
You
time.
got time.
You got time.
You got
Yes,
time
it
today.
does.
So we'll see
Hey,
y'all
what's
later.
up?
Yeah. RedIn30.
Red30.
Yeah. Y'all got me. Yeah.
Close out.
Yeah. Thank you for watching and listening to the RedIn30 podcast, where we talk about Jesus, truth, and you. Make sure you subscribe and share this with somebody that you love. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and like us on Facebook. We are RedIn30, so you need to be RedIn30. RedIn30.